and we'll see what happens. Patience is important, right? Gotta be patient. All right, we are coming, just kind of hanging. They definitely sucked out some of the volatility, which I guess is a little support here, but not really into this right now, into this trade. Again, when it gets into the middle of the range right here like this, it's kind of tough to get excited one way or the other. You can see it kind of runs through the blue band, runs through support, kind of stops someplace wherever it wants. Right now, I'd say that if we get above the 12 area, we might have a little bit of a pop to the upside. So if you're going to be short, anything above 12, you want to be up any shorts. Range bound here a little bit. So again, looks like a little support there at 01. Above 12, could rally up to the highs. Get below 95, but roll down to 90. if you want a little tighter range play here. Okay, can we repost the levels again in the chat? We'll get them up there in a second. All right, the range is getting a little tighter. Don, if you're there, can you repost the levels again? All right, market is trying to uptick. I said if we get above 12, there we okay, there they are. Thank you. I mean, I for some odd reason I cannot do it as easily as everybody else can. I don't know why. Again, coming up here to the upper range. Again, it's kind of that 01, 02 was a little support like I mentioned before. And now we're just coming out back up here. I thought above 12 we could rally a little bit. We are getting above 12 here. We're looking for a push up to the highs there and maybe get up. Well, 14 would be a really good out there if we can get 14. If you're looking for a momentum trade, that'll be your first stop. And then looking above that, we'll look for the 20. Well, the 18 and then up to the 20 area. 22, that's our next level that we have on our sheet. All right, so this is if you'd buy them there, it's your first exit. And then we'll, again, if you're trading multiple contracts, obviously, if you just bought one, you take your profit. Nice little trade. We have to let the market kind of set itself up for one move or the other, right? We're just not buying it for the sake of buying it. You know, kind of again, you got to keep your stop in place either way, no matter what, upside or downside. So if you're depending on where you jumped in, took some profits off the table at 14. I said 14 would be a good exit strategy for some of us. That would be our first stop. Hopefully, some of you got out there. And obviously, we're coming back down here. You're probably out of the trade now. How you doing there, Sir Dar? How are you? Fantastic. Well, pretty good. Can't complain. There are the levels there for you in the chat. In case you, those are the levels we're going to use as a guide to the day. So we tried. We thought we'd get above 12 and make a run up to those 18 area, but they it's kind of stopped it and reversed it. Got out of. I got it. We said take some profits at 14. That was the settlement price as well as our first level on the upside. Those once a level gets used, the fact that it might be good a second time is a lot less doable, but it depends. I don't have a preference, honestly. I don't. I try not to predict which way markets are going. All I'm doing is trading ebbs and flows of the market. I got long there a little bit at 12, looking for a push higher. It didn't happen. Got out of some at 14, and then got out. I got stopped out on the rest of it. So I was long down below at the 87 area when we first went down there. That was our level. So, and I got short above there at the 14 earlier this morning. So I'm not. We're not here looking for longs or shorts or position trading and which way the market's going to go today. It's not. It's not the focus here. The focus is more to find opportunities to scalp the market. At this point, we're looking probably 3 or 4 points, depending on levels, and then also. But if you have a price action opportunity, we're looking more 2 to 3 points on those. And so there's definitely different objectives, and everybody here and risk tolerances and different objectives as well. So it's not everybody here trades the same. Right, no price opinion. We're just trading. You can have plenty of opportunities just trading the ebbs and flows if you are patient and wait for a setup to occur, versus trying to predict a position and hold on to it. Usually, when I have an opinion, it's usually wrong. The hourly chart is there to give us a backup. Sometimes we need a backup to a setup. And if it lines up well with the 5 minute or a minute, like Don uses, and everything lines up, all the stars line up in perfect situation, I get more confidence in that trade. So using a combination of the 5 and the hourly to help us with position trading. So it's just the way the volatility is in the market these days. It's just impossible to try to, where would your stops be put? Are you having a 10-point stop or a 20-point stop, and you're getting these moves happening in 5 minutes, 10-point stop. So it's a lot for me. I would rather just is where I can scalp and take. Now we like to focus on the morning hours as well as we on keeping our commission cheap enough so that we don't pay lot of or to take our profits and pay the commissions to the stupid brokerage houses. So we try to get 4 or 5 day here on average. I think lately, because of the volatility, we've been averaging a lot more than that. But over trade, get into a situation where you get yourself in trouble, and then your commissions start racking up, and it's the last thing you want, So we try not to do that either. And this is a little uniqueness. It's a little different than most people are used to. All right. And we focus on the morning. We try to find areas that we feel the market will give us an opportunity to scalp. We're not, jumping on every trade. We're not position trading. And, obviously we're also at the mercy of volatility. So when we have volatility, it's great, and we can trade the volatility. And sometimes they see volatility out of a market, so we don't do much, and that sometimes happens as well. So right, so a couple nice trades this morning already against our first support and resistance areas, and we've gotten ourselves into a little bit of a range. Had a little bit of a, you can see how it's holding this 01 area. Hasn't been able to get underneath it. And again, if we go even, I think we might, well, I think 95 push down lower, but it's definitely range bound. And this is a situation where you have to almost like be extremely patient here. When it gets into this range bound, it's not my favorite. Could be your favorite trade. This is not my favorite trade. I just seem to, uh, every time I decide that this is the bottom of the range, I'm going to get hit, it decides to extend the range a little bit. So range bound trade is not my style. But again, doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be yours, right? Again, I appreciate the questions. If you have any more, please feel free to ask in the chat. You can see here, we discuss a lot of things here. It's trading. All right, again, coming down to the bottom of the range now. Like I said, I'm not a range guy, so good. Well, as long as there's no difference, everything else is the same. They, I don't know. All I know is that they made an update without telling somebody, and then that messed everybody up for 3 days. That is the one thing I can tell you that happened there. I mean, how do you make updates and don't tell people to restart your computer? Because that's all I've been doing. All I've been told to do: restart your computer, download your updates, restart your computer. Like, okay, done that already 100 times. How's the atmosphere in the pit these days? Okay, what do you hear? Nothing. That's it. That's the atmosphere. And they have floor. That's that's the atmosphere. Unfortunately, at least still closed, and I think they've decided to close it except for a couple option pits that are open. It's so sad. It's absolutely so sad. It's that they've been towards that for a while now. They were trying to get it done, and COVID just gave them the reason. It is sad. An era coming to an end. My era. I'm done. I'm ended. I can scream with the best of them. I could have. I don't know if I can scream anymore with the best of them. I used to scream with the best of them. When we're standing in the pit trading, and then get visitors on the floor, and we used to show them around, and people were yelling and screaming at each other, and they're like, "What? What's happening here? How do you know what's going on?" I always called it controlled madness. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that they've gone this route. Position. No, it's not. It's also a shame. You know, it's very difficult. It creates you need a lot of patience, and not only patience, but you need a lot of uh, discipline, I should say, because like I told you earlier, I would love to trade. I mean, I love to trade. The hardest part for me was to come here and not trade, and that was the hardest part for me to do, is not to trade and be patient and wait for something to happen. Um, you know, but you're talking to somebody who used to trade like 2 to 3,000 bonds a day, and I loved it. It was fun, and trust me, my best days though was when I traded less, and I was out of there. We opened up at 7:20, and I was out of there at 7:45. Those were my best days. You're talking about making money and cutting out. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Well, the bonds open at 7:20, and there was a number at 7:30, and if I could be out at 7:45, it means I did well. My clerk loved me then. That was used to be Central Time. Bonds open Central Time. My clerk loved me when I got out it, but like I said, there were days when I had that trade put on when a number came out, and I got run over, and it was a long day to wait till 2 o'clock to trade till I was done. But some of my best days when I didn't trade much. Even though I traded a lot, uh, it was my best days when I didn't trade that much. Yeah, and it's hard to claw back when you're like trying to absorb that hit, which you're not. That usually takes. You lose that much money in a whole day, but not on one trade. It's like, it's brutal. Funny part about that story. It's funny now because I can laugh about it, and my clerk came up to me. She goes, "Is this price right?" That's a funny story. When I wrote the price down, and then I'm covering them, and she comes up, "Is this price right?" uh, what can you do? Well, she asked because I don't think she wanted to stay there all day either. uh, oh. Well, anyway, I can laugh about it now. I wasn't too happy when it happened. And the worst part about that whole story, well, you've heard a lot of worst parts about that story, but it gets, it has parts and then bad parts, worst parts. But another bad thing about that story is that it happens on a Friday, right? It happened on a Friday, and you work all day, you're bummed out, and you got to take it home for the weekend. And that's even another dump that onto how bad that trade was. Oh, you can't get it out of your mind. Why did I do that? How did I even get into it? Why did he jump from the top step and jump to try to get me because he knew I was an idiot? I mean, this broker on the other side of the aisle all of a sudden trades with me, who never trades with me ever. you know, you knew something was, why is he even there? No, he didn't care. He made his $100 because he got paid his commission. That's it. He didn't care. All right, we can see we wrote it. Bullish to kind of depleted here. Otherwise, just wait for the 78 on the downside. That's our next good support area. All right, so 78 board level. We'll see there, Don. I don't know. Seems like it's on a mission. What's the Dow doing? Well, let me try to find that number. Down 171. Probably, you know, so there, or maybe again the market's going to be leaning on or trading for or off of the inflation number that's going to be released tomorrow morning at 7:30 Chicago time. We open up here at 8:30, so that's going to be a factor that I think the market is being concerned about a little bit. Obviously, inflation is the big elephant in the room, and so that's a big number that everybody will be looking forward to, kind of trading off or waiting for it to come out. Maybe there's a leak on a number. Maybe Goldman gets it beforehand. Maybe somebody gets it and something happens. You never know. Did I say Goldman gets a leak? No, they would never know what a number is before the number is released. Never. I'll tell you, I've said this story before about leaks about Goldman. I don't know if some of you might have heard this or not, but Goldman, we were trading one day. It was right before unemployment. It was 7:20, and the Goldman broker standing next to another big trader starts buying it. He's buying it, and let's just, and these are bonds. Remember, they're $31 a tick, and he starts buying it at 10, and he tells him, "I'll buy 1,000 from you at 10." And trader sells it to him. Now it's trading 10, 11. He goes, "I'll buy 1,000 from you at 15." And the trader sells it to him at 15, and it's trading 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He puts the price out at 15. And you can see I'm watching this on the other side of the pit. I'm watching this, the local. I go, "What's he doing? Why is he buying all this stuff? What the hell's going on over there?" Because the broker did not put it out loud in the market. It's trading at 15. He goes, "I'll buy 1,000 from you at 20." And now the local is like going, he's trying to buy, I mean, he's just now, remember, this is 720 to 730 and you're $1,000 a tick. And so he sells them at that, and then he's trying to buy 15, 16, 17, 18. You know, he's trying to buy as many as he can. He's short from, you know, whatever. And so he gets up to 20 and he goes, I'll buy another 1,000 from you at 25. And so, you know, the problem is that if he doesn't sell it to him and he puts the market out, the broker starts trying to buy him. Well, look out, because you might sell it to the local, but you're not going to sell it to the broker because you know the broker has to buy it no matter what the price is. So he'll bid it up as much as possible. You're not so worried about the local bidding it up, but hey, you know what I'm saying. But you know that something's up because, you know, something's up. Well, anyway, the number comes out, and of course, it's bullish, right? And you know, my clerk comes up to me and says, "Oh, by the way, they took the trader off the floor. He's down 6.5." And wow, 6.5. That's a big chunk of change. You know, he could afford it. It's not that he couldn't afford it. 6.5 million, but they had to take him off the floor because he needed to put some money in the account. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so turns out he sues Goldman, and Goldman, after about a year or two, admits or doesn't admit to knowing or not knowing, but will give anybody who had traded that Goldman account like X amount of dollars, like $2,000 for each contract that they traded. So they made, so they ended up having a penalty of like, I don't know, $20 million or so, but they made $50 million on the trade. But they didn't admit that they knew what was going on. He sued them for knowing the number, basically. He ended up winning. He got a little bit of his money back like years later, but I don't know, I'm just saying, Goldman always seems to know. Don't tell anybody I said that, by the way. I might get in trouble. That is a true story, by the way. Happens. Does happen. And it's always Goldman in the middle of all of that. I don't know why. I haven't had too many good experiences with Goldman brokers. So when we were first trading on the electronically, when we were still trading in the pit and trading electronically, and this is when I decided that I had to get off the floor. I was standing there next to the broker and minding my own business, nothing much going on. Now you could see what the bids and offers are on the screen. Electronically, there was on the wall boards, you could see what the bids and offers were in the bond pit. So, you know, the bond, let's say we're trading at 95, 96, even though that's not the right thing. Anyway, so there was like, you know, 200 offered at 95. And the broker next to me goes, "Hey, I'll buy 150 from you at 95. I'm like, okay, I look at the board, there's 200 offered. I got my clerk. I tell my clerk, I go, you know, buy me 100 of them off the screen. And so by the time I sell it to the broker and I tell my clerk, buy 100 from the screen, it's gone. It's like bid already. And I'm like, what the fuck? I look at the desk. I go, really? You wanted to buy 400 or 500? You buy 150 from me. You leave me hanging in the dark, and you buy the other 200 on the computer, and I can't get out. I go, what was that? And I didn't even bother looking at the broker. I turned to the desk. He goes, I needed to buy 500. What did you want me to do? I go, that's bullshit. I go, you put them in either buy them all on the screen or you buy them all in the pit, but you don't buy 150 here on me because you know you can get them from me, and then you swallow up the 200 on the screen, and then I have no out. I go, that's just not right. That was when I decided to leave the floor. When they're playing stupid games like that. Just in case you wanted to know why I left the floor. I don't know if that all makes sense to everybody here, but all right. Did pop off of that 90 area a little bit. Now, next level resistance support we have is down. We tested the 80, R87. So we, again, you could maybe get down to 85. Maybe you want to, it's a little bit aggressive if you're going to take a retest of that 85, but I would look at the 78 as our next good support level. Again, if anybody has any questions, any comments, we've got a lot of good comments today. Put them in the chat. How good or bad this is, whatever. Tomorrow's number, again, before we open up, it's going to be a little bit of a market mover, I would suggest. So we'll see. We'll see what brings. So there's always room to trade tomorrow. You don't have to worry if you made a little bit of money this morning, great. I always keep saying, there's always tomorrow. Whoa, you sound like a mile and a half away. Where are you at? Don't tell me you're on my computer trying to fix it. Well, wait, get out of the pool. Yeah. Okay. You, oh yeah, that's a good one. I'd say that person should stop doing that. I mean, who's going to turn down a? Oh, you did. I appreciate it. Well, it's your fault. Yeah, this can get our charts up fast enough. Yeah, well, they should tell people if they're doing that next time so that everybody's on the same page. Well, that's a problem right there, JetBlue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's a savior. He's a savior. Easy, easy. You got a lot of noise going on there. Well, I mean, he's busy, man. He's got a position on. I mean, yeah, it's just all over the place. Hope. What hope? Hope. Isn't that like a ice skater? There's no.
Okay, I'm going to have to defend myself. I can.
Oh no, Don. We are all appreciative of everything.
Oh, y'all were most welcome. Do anything.
Yeah, you did. You bailed me out. I like I said, these people don't let they're updating charts. I mean, like what? All right. Well, anyway, you helped me. You helped us both out. So how's that?
Hey, that works.
All right. So thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Well, I can truthfully say it's not doing what I wanted to do.
Well, okay.
But Jesus, I'm not in a trade. That's a first change.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Can't always be in a trade. I mean, I've been talking a lot today, telling stories, reminiscent of my terrible day I had. Keep bringing it back. It hurts. The pain. I can feel the trade still, and it happened maybe 25 years ago.
Yep.
I can feel the pain. Never goes away. Keeps you humble.
It's like stepping on a nail.
No, that's less pain.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Definitely less pain.
Mine is, I can't believe I was that stupid. I know better.
I didn't have a chance, though. That was the thing. That's the thing that's killing. That's the thing that's killing me about that one. I did not have a chance. And,
you know, I could understand working out of a 5 lot or a 10 lot, but 1,000 lot, I just go.
100 lot, yeah.
Oh, 100 lot.
Yeah,
I'm going,
and it was, yeah, it was not pretty. And the best part, like I said, there's a couple good stories. The best part was my clerk comes up to me. She goes, "Hey, is that price right?"
Say no. Give me a better price to see if they'll take it.
She goes, "Is that price right?" I could laugh about it now. I was not too happy when she asked me, but now looking back at it, I was like, "Yeah, that price is right." We even laughed about it a few years after that. She was being nice. She was trying to be nice. She goes, "This price can't be right, is it?"
Well, what happened to all the clerks? They just lost their jobs, had to do something else after the floor shut down.
You don't understand. Not only did clerks lose their jobs, there was a whole industry down there. There was restaurants. There were people who served the restaurant. There were people who punched in cards, who worked in the offices. There was a whole industry there that got, once we went electronic. And I'll be honest with you, I mean, it's not an efficient market. I mean, it's just not an efficient market. But this is what they wanted. Don't ask me how, why, or whatever. And maybe it's just the only reason I can see is that it's the bottom line, right? As soon as they went public and they figured out how to monetize the industry, that's what they did. And unfortunately, computers are taking over in every industry. I mean, it's just sad but true, right? Look at the toll booths, right? Now you go through a toll booth, now you got one of those iPasses or whatever. I was thinking they were, especially around Illinois here, robots, and that was the beginning of the robots in the auto plants, right?
Yeah.
And that was the beginning. And these computers just got smarter and smarter and smaller and smaller. I remember the robots in the auto, but they're like, "What? We're losing all our jobs." Yeah, unfortunately. but that's definitely happening there. And yeah, there was a whole industry there that was just destroyed. A lot of people. Not only that, how about the parking lot guys?
Oh
I
yeah.
went to the same parking lot for 25 years, knew the same guys, took care of my car, and you know, they were sad when it happened. They knew. I mean, I remember. I mean, it was just this is bad. Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, I am going to stop for today because you guys are making me sad all of a sudden. It's sad. Just sad. My granddaughter's upstairs sleeping. I should go wake her up.
Yeah, that's right. Go wake her up, then go back and run to the
That really make
basement.
my daughter happy. I need to smile, kid.
Yeah, buddy. Okay, I'm going back to the basement.
I closed a while ago. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. The Jack Schwartz cigar store is in the bottom. That one stayed open, but obviously it's lost. It's not. I don't know if it's still there or not. But you got to remember, since COVID in 2020, we haven't been there since March. I've been there a couple times. I walked through the offices a couple times, and it's deserted, especially that area. So I can't imagine that the cigar shop. I mean, it's there. Obviously, it has its reputation. But I don't know if it's still open or not. Like I said, I haven't been there for a couple of years. A year, maybe a year. It was open a year ago.
It doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, you go down and have a drink at the bar there at Ceres, man. They made the best drinks. They had the bar down there at Ceres. You go down there. First of all, you get the grain traders that start at 9:30, and by 10:30, they're all sitting at the bar drinking. Okay. Those grain traders, man, they used to have the life. We used to start at 7:20, okay, and so we started a lot earlier. But they come at 9:30 a.m. 10:30, they're drinking. Oh yeah, they were drinking. They were drinking. And let me tell you something. Those drinks that they made, you get, cranberry and vodka. You get 95% vodka and 5% cranberry.
All right.
I mean, it was a drink.
I think if
they were drinks.
I think
man.
if I was a grain trader, I'd have to drink too.
Yeah, I mean, those guys grab but boy, that series that base that and the best was before they got cracked down, the FBI got in there and everybody got in trouble, but they used to give you a carry out with one of these drinks.
Oh yeah.
In a styrofoam cup. I mean, you could just order a drink and walk out of that place. I mean, those were the good old days. You can't do that anymore. I mean, those drinks were so good. You just needed one to set you for a week.
The FBI shut you down because y'all were drinking.
Well, no, the FBI got in there because there was something called curb trading. I don't know. There was a whole big scandal here where what happened was the pit used to close at. It is the end of an era there. That's the sad part about the whole thing. These are great stories to tell. So the pits used to close at 2:00. Well, the bond pit used to close at 2:00, right? Other pits closed different times. But if you were stuck in a trade, right, you could get out on the curb. The curb being just people sitting around at the end of on the bottom of the pit, just standing there, sitting around. And if you needed to get out, there was always one guy who, you if you counted your position and you were off by whatever, and you wanted to get out of your position, he would give you a market. Now, the market was obviously illegal because the markets were closed. You could only trade when the market's open. But this guy, or a couple people, would give you a market and say, hey, you want to get out? I'm 10 bid at 15. So you want to buy some? I'm at 15. You want to sell me something? I'm at 10. And I'll buy them at 10 and I'll sell them to you at 15. And even though the market was probably trading 12, right?
Yeah.
But if you were stuck and you didn't want to have a position overnight and you wanted to get out, okay, so you trade the curb, right? So you go out there and trade the curb. So it was done. It was like no big deal, but it's illegal. Okay, so the FBI came because I don't know, back in the 90s, there was a whole big thing about, oh, the border trade. You got cocaine all over the place. You got people doing drugs all over the place. I've never tried cocaine. I've never even seen it down down in Chicago. I'm sure it was there. I just didn't hang around with that group, but it was like every story that you could have about how bad the border trade was, it was there. And so they had this, like, the FBI, these FBI guys would come and be traders. They might make themselves up as traders, and they would get some guys in trouble, and they got guys in trouble who they you have to understand, the big traders stood on the top.
Yeah.
Right. And so there was the pit. If you can imagine a pit, there were different rows and goes down to the bottom. So if you got an FBI agent who came in, he was not going to stand on the top, because only big traders and traders who've been there a while, who are experienced, can trade on the top. Right. So an FBI agent would come in there and try to get somebody in trouble, or try to find somebody to get him in trouble. Poor guy, they would go get one of the new guys, or guys who've never been there a while, who basically don't know the rules or don't know what they're doing, and they got them in trouble because they did something illegal, and probably the kid or whoever the new trader was didn't know it was illegal, because he hasn't been there a while. Because you're not going to stand on the top and get those guys who are really doing the wrong things in trouble, because nobody's going to let you up there.
Yeah.
Right. So when the thing hit the fan, you found out that they're getting, that there were FBI agents in there and this and that, and everybody's like, oh shit, we got to be careful, blah blah blah. And then everybody started looking at this person or that person. He might be an FBI. This guy might be an FBI. You're like, any new guy that came in the pit, this guy's an FBI. I'm staying away from him. And that is true. I mean, we had a friend who befriended us at that moment in time. And he was a new trader, and I don't know how we had a group of traders that we would go to breakfast every morning, 4 of us, 5 of us, and we would go up to my office and we kind of hang out. We could wait for something to happen on the market. You got to remember, things were a little bit slower then. We had if you had a 15 or 10 tick range in the bonds, that was big. Now you have a 30, 50 point range as a norm. But back in the day, you had 10, 15 point ranges in the bonds. That was a lot, right? So there's a lot of time. There was a downtime, so we'd be up in my office doing whatever, and so we would have a group of us who would go up to the office, kind of hang out, wait till something happens, or if there was a number to release, whatever. So this guy all of a sudden befriends us, and it's the same time this FBI stuff comes out, and we're like, okay, we got to be careful, because this guy could be FBI. We don't know, but all of a sudden he's like our friend, and he's like hanging out with us, and like, what's going on? Well, it turns out this guy would turn out to be one of my best friends after a while. I felt like an idiot, and I had to tell him that story like years later. When you first came out on the floor, we were a little concerned about you. But I ended up going to his wedding and standing up at his wedding, and he liked my kids, and like he used to put. I have all girls, and he used to put makeup. He used to come to my house, and they would put makeup on his face for him. And I thought he was FBI. That's how paranoid we all got back then, But all right. So there's another story you got for me. As I have my order in there at 78 to 79, and it gets down to 81 and 75 and stops. So, all right, I need to write a book. Yeah, somebody told me that before. All right, guys. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Be careful. Use our levels there. Let me. We're fine, I think, with levels. I don't think they're going to make a big move here prior to, unless they leak it prior to tomorrow's number. So we'll see what happens. All right, everybody. We'll be patient. Wait for opportunities. You got our levels. Can you repeat the levels one more time in the chat? There's Don, and
Mark.
we'll see what happens. All right, we'll talk to everybody in the morning.